Jesus says, whomsoever you forgive, whomsoever sins you forgive are what? You never understood what he was saying. He didn't say, if you come, I forgive you, your sins are forgiven. So what happens if you're living according to the flesh and you refuse to forgive somebody? What happens to them? That's not what he's telling you. You have to realize forgiveness is not for the next person, it's for you. You can't loosen and you can't have authority to loose or to bind if you're in a cage. Unforgiveness is a prison. It's a cage. Look at the parable of the master and his servants, the greater and the lesser. It says one had so much debts, the master forgave him. Then one, his servants owed him a little and he locked him up in a prison. The master heard about it and then locked up that servant whom he had just freed. Where did his unforgiveness place him? Back inside prison. Oh, this person did something to me. Let them go. Listen, Lord's Prayer. Forgive us as we forgive them. He's saying, if I forgive you, I'm walking myself out of a prison. And there is something that happens outside of prison. It's freedom. You can't have authority in prison. No matter how deep Joseph was, no matter how gifted Joseph was, no matter how Joseph could see, no matter how prophetic Joseph was, listen, he was still in prison. He didn't control Egypt. His brothers could not come and bow before him. There was a prophecy given, but there was no fulfillment as long as he was in prison. Many of you saying, Lord, let the prophecies in my life come to pass. Are you in prison or are you free? There is a place, there is somewhere where you stand in, that you bring yourself out of a prison, something that has been holding on to you. Can I tell you this? You want the jaw, the hand of death to let go of you. Let go of the person that you have not forgiven. Can I tell you this? Let me tell you this. I know forgiveness is not easy, okay? That's not my message today. It's not easy, I know. It's a little difficult. You know what they've done? Especially the ones closest to you, you know. You know what they've done? Or the ones that trigger you, the ones that touch that place that you've been hurt before. It's difficult. You know what they did? And you know, especially the ones that know what you've been through before. And you get into an argument and then they find a way, whether intentional or non-intentional or unintentional, to poke at that thing that you've told them hurt you before. I told you this thing hurt me. Why are you doing this to me? How can you claim to love me if you're doing this to me? Somehow, it is the ones closest to us. Can I tell you this? Your issue is this. You've given up on people that God never gave up on. You gave up on situations that God never gave up on. Imagine if Jesus was moved by triggers. Remember, every time God will come into the world, man will reject God. Now he's come again and to die for man. Man still rejects him again. Imagine if he said, you know what? Y'all did this before in the times of Noah. You did this in the wilderness with Moses. I forgave you. And you're doing this to me again. No, I'm destroying the earth again. You won't be here. No salvation for you. But he looked at it. Listen to me. Jesus is on the cross. Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. Can I tell you this? The posture of your heart shows where you live. It shows whether you have authority or not. Look at the language of Jesus. Forgive them, for they know not what they do. They're messing up because they don't see what I see. An unforgiving person can't see spiritually.